Hi, I'm Norm Stockton. Welcome to my home studio here in Southern California. I am here today with the Gallien-Krueger 410 MBP powered enclosure. It adds much flexibility and some serious functionality to GK's very popular MB series of combo amps and heads. This 410 MBP is a 500 watt amp driving 4 Neo 10-inch speakers and a horn. And it's connected to a primary amp, whether it's an MB combo, in this case this is an MB 410, or one of the MB heads. By the way, this is a great amp. This is obviously turned around so you can see the rear panel, but I won't spend much time talking about this. You can go see the separate video clip where I demo this in detail. But you connect the MBPs to the MB combos using a standard mic cable, like standard XLR cable. Once they're connected, then all EQ and volume settings from the MB combo are conveyed to the MBP or MBPs. And we'll get to that. It's pretty awesome. This results in sort of a steroid situation for your combo amp. In this case here, this MB 410 is a 500 watt amp in its own right with 4 Neo 10s that is, and a horn. The 500 watts in this amp is dedicated specifically and exclusively to the speakers in this box. That's not the case with most combo amps, by the way. Most combos, you're not ever realizing the full output power of that head until you plug into passive extension cabinets and drop the impedance level down, right? In that case, then you're getting the full rated power. But the design philosophy with the MB stuff is awesome because basically it's such that the entirety of the output power of that head is directed just to the speakers in that box. With the MBPs, this has a separate 500 watt amp that's allocated just to the speakers in this box. What's awesome about that is that you no longer need to cart around some massive rig when you only occasionally need that sort of output. Now in this case, this MB410 it's got tons of output power and it's very useful in a broad range of situations. But there may be times where a 500 watt 410 is not going to be adequate for your needs. Well, is that adequate for most of your needs? If so, then why cart around an extra 410 or other speaker cabinets? You can just have this waiting in the wings, and when you have those bigger occasional gigs where you need more power, in this case here, you just plug from the chain output of the MB combo into the input of the 410 MBP, and suddenly you have a 1,000 watt 810 rig. And like I said earlier, it gets even better because up to 3 MBP cabinets can be driven from one MB combo. So you can pick and mix and match from the entire set. There's the 112 MBP or 115 MBP, which are both 200 watt amps, or the 212 MBP or 410 MBP, which are both 500 watt amps with Neo drivers. Designed and built in the US, awesome stuff. What I really love about the design sort of mindset with the MBs and the MBPs is that it's not necessarily where you just need to get thunderously loud, although they're certainly capable of that. And this modular thing is really cool. Do I need to get only a little bit louder? Then maybe I just add a 112 or 115, or if I need to get a whole lot louder, maybe I add 3 of these 410 MBPs and, what is that? That's 2,000 watts and what is that, 4 times 4? That's 16 tens. So yeah, you have all sorts of flexibility in that regard if you wanted to do that. But another application of it that maybe is more practical for most people is that maybe you have a situation where stage right, you have a guitar player or somebody who really wants to hear the bass more. You could do the rock and roll thing and turn your amp at stage left up to 11 and bum out everybody else on stage and out in the house. Or you can leave that level there, but just go ahead and put like a 410 MBP stage right, run a mic cable to it, plug it in, and you're good to go. It's targeted stage volume. And again, you can mix and match with these. So there's the 410 MBP obviously is a powerhouse, 500 watts. But if you are doing a small coffee house thing and maybe just want to run a 112 over to somebody else, you can really get very targeted and specific with this stuff. What's awesome, by the way, that's really well thought out is that whether you're running a 410 MBP, a 115 MBP, 112 MBP, 500 watts versus 200 watts, halfway up on the MB control panel is halfway up for both. It's not like one of them's cranking, one of them's barely on kind of thing, So really, really practical stuff. Let's take a look at the rear panel real quick. There's a power button, an AC input, and then your chain in, chain out. And again, you go from the chain out of the MB combo with an XLR cable into the chain input of the MBP. And then if you want to run additional MBPs, then you get a separate XLR cable and go from the chain out of the first MBP into the chain input of the second MBP, so on and so forth. Another thing that's awesome, by the way, is that if you have one of those MB heads with a line out, chain out jack, and you're running a couple of passive extension cabinets, so you've got the impedance load down, you're theoretically maxed out, right? You can still get a TRS to XLR cable, plug into the chain out of that MB head into the chain input of an MBP, and run additional MBPs, up to 3 of them, again, with that MB head that was maxed out. So you have all sorts of flexibility. Getting back to that rear panel, by the way, you also have a horn on-off switch. So you can independently control whether or not you're running the horn on the MBPs versus the MB combos or whatever. But 48 pounds, which is actually not bad at all for a 500 watt box with 410s, right? But awesome GK tone, power, headroom, value. I really encourage you to check these out and not just take my word for them, even though I'm definitely giving you the straight scoop. But the MBPs are a quantum leap forward in the whole area of working with a combo amp and having it where a combo amp can be your main amp. The MB combos are certainly great standalone amps on their own, but it makes it where you no longer need to break your back lugging around a rig that you only need occasionally. So definitely go check it out. By the way, there's more information if you go to Gallien.com. But this is the 410 MBP from Gallien-Krueger. I'm Norm Stockton. God bless you, and I hope to see you on the road.